Now I understand what my ancestor Noah felt like right before God told him to get on the ark. Noah spent 100 years building the ark. He laid the foundation. He built it to the specifications that God gave. He put time and energy, effort into building the very vessel that would be used to save him and his family. You know, the other day I was talking with my angels and God, and they were just telling me much more about Eden and the tree, and explaining in depth. But these teachings will not be shared here, nor will they be shared for free. The time has come for payments to be made. Anyways, but I was looking at the parallel between between Adam and Eve and Noah and his wife and their children, because Eve and Adam, they lived in a world that others did not have access to, like they had access to it. And then once they disobeyed God, they lost access to that world. And Noah and his family, they did not disobey. However, because of the disobedience of those around them, they lost access to the pre-flood world. However, because they were taught, not all of them, but Noah, and then Noah selected Shem, and then Ham stole the garments, thinking that he could steal the birthright, passed it on to Nimrod. But God always has a remnant. And the funny thing is that the remnant never looks like what people think it should look like. Remember when Samuel went to David's father? God had told him, I have selected someone who's going to be king. And it was at the verdict, the moment at the verdict from the great judge, the only one that can judge. He said, he is king no more. However, how long did Saul stay in the role of king? David even served him until God took him out. But Samuel went and he saw David's brothers, and he was like, oh, this one is the one that God chose because he looks the part. Oh no, it's this one because he has this or he has that. But God said, he is not here. Ask his father if all his sons are here. So Samuel asked, and David's father said, oh, I have one more who's in the field, working, watching over my sheep, my flock. And Samuel said, bring him. And as soon as Samuel laid eyes on him, God confirmed, this is the one. Confirmation doesn't come from man. It comes from God. And in the days of Noah, God selected Noah. And God confirmed Noah over and over and over and over again. Noah preached to those that were around. He went and he said what the plan of God was. Oh, they knew what the plan of God was. But they thought because they were wise and clever that they had built certain things, that they had put protections in place, that the flood wasn't going to wipe them out until it did. So now today I understand how my ancestor Noah felt, because for a long time I have been proclaiming, I have been telling, I have been boldly sharing the lost remembrance of a time so that the children of God could remember. But what happened? I was mocked. I was told I was crazy. I was told to shut up. I was told a woman could not know these things. Why did he select you? Why do you look that way? Why do you act this way? Why do you say the things that you say? Why do you like yourself so much? What makes you confident? Blah, 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 blah. And most of it was said in the heart. But God allowed me to hear it. I'm not going to support her. Why would I support her? I don't like her. I want to get something out of her. I'll only support her if. Just like Abraham's brother. Yeah, he got burned up. Yeah, because God was with Abraham. And when Abraham went into the furnace, his brother is the one who burned. Kind of like the prodigal son. The elder brother is the angels. We've been here all along. Why do they get redemption? But God is the Father who said, let's have a party. My son has returned. So many are so quick to cast false judgment. Oh, they think they know. Oh, I am upright and I am holy and I am righteous. And if you ever act like you like yourself, and if you ever think that you're pretty, and if you ever acknowledge that you are sexy, you must be a demon. Get out of here, okay? Because my daddy, my boss, who is God, told me years ago, and I have recorded proof of it because I know I posted it. He told me, use everything I gave you. And I had a hard time with that. I had a very hard time with it because I had shame from things that had happened to me in my life based upon beauty, sexuality, things that I didn't even understand at the time. But he equipped me with those things. You think that Esther didn't have those things, but she caught the attention of the king of Persia? Are you people serious? Do you not understand what it is that you read? Do you not understand the heart and the mind of your Creator? He makes everything beautiful. So when somebody is beautiful and they have a beautiful countenance and they have a way about them, do you think that Joseph didn't have a swag to him? Oh no, God put that in him. He made him so beautiful that the women of Egypt said, nah, 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 okay? Every single time they saw him. Same with David, same with Solomon. And the women, we won't even begin to talk about them. But oh yes, we will. Oh yes, we will. Have always been beautiful. God's weapons have always been beautiful. Okay? But the difference is how you boast. If you boast in God. I remember one time I was talking on my device to the Lord. And I said something and I thought it was flippant. But he said, that's how I want my children to boast in the land. And I said, but Lord, isn't it arrogant to say something like that? And he said, no, it's not arrogant. You're repeating back to me what I have already proclaimed over you. So many of you are bound, just bound up by things that God didn't even bind you with. You took the rope and circled it around yourself. And then you go to church jumping up and down, praising something that's not even there. The spirit has left the building. Okay? Just like in the wilderness, he said, follow me by day. I will be a pillar of, I forget, but it was 2 pillars that God showed up and for the children to follow him. And he moved. You have to be quick to follow the Spirit, because the Spirit is here, there, and everywhere. And I'm tired of people trying to put me in a place that I don't even belong, that God has not placed me in. How do you know what the judgment is going to be at the white throne judgment? You have no idea what the judge is going to say about me, about you, about your mama, about your daddy. You have no idea. So the smartest thing to do is to shut your mouth, because you don't know. You have no idea. You don't know. But today I finally understood what Noah felt like before he got in the ark. He said, no more candy for you. And God closed the ark. And Noah went into a new world. A whole new world. That's where I'll be. Okay? I don't know about you. Yeah. But, you know, it was fun and games when the mocking and the criticisms and, oh, she's a this and she's a that and, oh, God, look at her, blah, 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 blah. I don't care anymore what you have to say. I don't care anymore what you have to say. Okay? Because everything that you say about me, you're actually saying it about yourself. Takes one to know one. And the funny thing is that it was never in my heart to condemn others. You know, I just shared. I shared from a place of love. Shared from a place of love. And it's funny because the very people that acted like they weren't watching, when I went missing, oh my God, where are you? Isn't it the way it always is? I thought you weren't paying attention. I thought you weren't learning anything. I thought that I was just a nobody knows. Right? Oh, yeah. You didn't believe. Actually, no, you did believe in the power of transformation. It's a new day. And if you can't feel the new energy upon me, and don't think that you can call it what you think it is. Okay? Because just like you had no idea 5 years ago what energy I was working in, you still don't know what energy I'm working in today. So when you come at me, just know, but God. And another question, if you're so holy and so righteous and so full of the love of God, why would you want bad things to happen to somebody else? Have you ever checked your heart? Because guess what? It's going to be weighed. And it's going to be found wanting. Which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. God knows my heart. And he knows the issues in which I struggle. And he also knows that he had to pour into me. He had to wash me. He had to bathe me in order to get me to a place where I even believed that I was called. I did it anyways. And now I'm at a point where I look back and I say, wow, look at what you did. And the you is not me. All glory and credit goes to him. And I say to him, I say, look at what you did. And he says to me, daughter, behold, for I make all things new. And if I choose to make you new again, I can do it. I can do it. So excuse me if I feel myself for 5 seconds and I actually rest in what God has already proclaimed over me and what God has already made me. And I believe what he said to me when he said, use everything I gave you. So if that makes you uncomfortable, that's not my problem anymore. I don't really care if it makes you uncomfortable, because now I need to be comfortable in him. I need to rest in him and I need to trust in him. And I don't need any of the bullshit. Oh no, she just cursed. No, real cursing is what y'all do to people in your hearts. It's the evil eye that you set upon folks. It's the dark magic that you do in your so-called prayers. That's cursing. That's cursing. And when you stand before God and God says, you're the witch, but you want to sit there and point at me, but guess what? I'm not going to be there, because it's going to be you and God. The work that you don't do here, oh yeah, the books is going to be open. It's written. Yeah. I've stood before God here. And I'm glad that I stood before him here. And I know I will have to give an account on the day of judgment. But many of you seem to forget that so will you. But you don't even understand what a real witch, according to the scriptures, is. Yeah, when you get down on your knees and you're like, by any means necessary, wipe them out, Lord. By any means necessary. Those are spells and incantations. The power of the Psalms from one of God's most beloved, David. Oh, those are the prayers that you pray for your enemies. I don't see any of you around anymore. It didn't work, did it? Oh, all the little things that you tried to plot, plan, and, oh, it's going to work. Oh, she's a fool. But God, you were never mocking me. Never mocking me. Everything that you did was recorded, seen and unseen. I'm like God's worm, that he puts me in the river of certain type of people. And if they bite, oh, come on. Just come a little closer. You know how it says in the word, he will put I forget the word for it, but it's like a jewelry piece in your nose and he will drag you. Yeah, I'm the piece of jewelry that he put in your nose. Now you're being dragged because your heart was wicked. Your actions were wicked. But you have the nerve to call me a witch. Yeah, okay. Anyways, have a good day. I'm gonna go spend the day with real angels and live my magical life that God has given to me. And before you say anything about, that's evil according to the scriptures, you wouldn't have them scriptures if it wasn't for my ancestors that performed great magic. If you don't know, you better ask somebody.